What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm counting down the top 10 most hyped dad sneakers of 2018. Thanks so much for tuning in today, whether this is your first video or you've been rocking with the channel for a long time, I really appreciate you being here. And as my way of thanking you guys for all the love and support over the years, I'm giving away a pair of off-white Nike Blazers. This is a brand new size 10 off-white Grim Reaper that I just bought off StockX. I actually also got my own personal pair in right here, also from StockX. So whoever wins this pair of shoes and myself will have matching sneakers, so that's something. This giveaway officially went live last week and it runs until Thursday, October 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So if you haven't entered yet, make sure to do so because I think you only have about a week or so left. This giveaway is open internationally, so no matter where you live in the world, I'll ship this pair of shoes to you if you win. So if you haven't already entered the giveaway for this pair of off-white Nike Blazers, make sure to do so by clicking the link in the top of the description. But with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. So over the last year and a half, the dad sneaker trend has become incredibly prevalent in fashion as a whole. People have increasingly started to make these overly bulky, sometimes overmade, and even ugly sneakers a staple of their sneaker closet. The reason, obviously, is because all their favorite celebrities keep rocking these pairs of shoes. Fashion designers have incorporated them into their designs and into their fashion shows, and the hype on these shoes just keeps building and building and building. So as we enter into the fall season of 2018, I felt like now would be the perfect time to talk about the top 10 most hyped dad sneakers of 2018. Starting things off with an honorable mention, it's the shoe that started it all and is actually on the shelf behind me, the Nike Air Monarch 4. For the last decade or so, this sneaker has been one of the best-selling shoes with dads and non-sneakerheads alike, and the reason for that is because it's inexpensive, it doesn't look bad, and it comes in both normal and wide sizing. It truly is an incredibly versatile shoe. And it's funny to see, as this dad shoe trend continues, Nike has actually tried to capitalize on the hype by releasing more hyped up versions of the sneaker. Nike's released an updated version, which we'll talk about later on in the list, and also an even more limited version of the sneaker. Needless to say, you can find a pair of these in almost every household across America. And what I think a lot of dads didn't bargain for when they first bought this shoe is that now they're hype beasts. Now jumping into the actual list itself. Number 10. The Fila Disruptor 2. This women's Fila model has become an increasingly more popular silhouette and has become harder and harder to find in stores. The shoe comes in a variety of pretty clean colorways and is actually a pretty easy complement to almost any outfit. The Fila Disruptor 2 fits into this trend perfectly because of its bulky, oversized, and in some cases almost gaudy look. The inexpensive price point of $70 and the fact that it's sold at retailers like Urban Outfitters also probably doesn't hurt. This shoe does also come in men's sizes, but I found that it's far more popular in women's sizes online than it seems to be in men's. Number 9. The Puma RSO. This year, Puma has been experiencing a revival of sorts by introducing a bunch of very popular silhouettes. The RSO, or Running System Zero, has become one of the more popular lifestyle sneakers that they're pushing this year. I like it because it stays within that sort of dad shoe vibe without getting too bulky and too oversized. Puma's done a really great job of keeping elements of the shoe that really give it a unique look without over-designing it. Since its initial launch, Puma has given us a bunch of different colorways to choose from, and the $100 to $130 price point definitely doesn't hurt. They've also really been experimenting with this sneaker as well, which I think is cool, like collaborating with brands like Polaroid and trying crazy colorways that you don't usually see on any other sneaker. Overall, a solid choice if you like that sort of dad shoe aesthetic, but you don't like the bulk. Number 8. The Gucci Triton. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know if that's how you pronounce the name of the shoe. I've never really been interested in this shoe. This hasn't been a shoe that I've even considered buying, mainly because the price point is around $850. Which is nuts. And I'm sure you guys already know this, but it's $850 retail. That's not resale. That's what you go into the store and buy it for. I realize it's a designer shoe and that's why it costs so much, but I just think it's stupid. This Gucci shoe is pretty much just a beige dad sneaker with the Gucci logo printed on the side. It's very heavy in hand, which actually didn't really surprise me. And with this shoe, it's kind of what you see is what you get. There isn't really much else to say about it. If you love being Gucci'd out and you have the money to blow on some $850 dad shoes, go right ahead, it's your prerogative. Because of the insane popularity of Gucci right now, a lot of people are hyped on this sneaker, and I can understand why. If you love designer clothes and you love Gucci, you might want to grab this as well. But for the normies like myself who can't afford something like that, I'm not really that mad that I have to let it go. Number 7. The Adidas Falcon. This shoe is actually the first Kylie Jenner signature or promoted sneaker since her move to Adidas, and this ridiculously young billionaire's name being attached to a signature model definitely helped sales. On release day, the shoe was almost impossible to find, and since then there have been a couple restocks, so it's not as difficult to find anymore, but it's still selling like crazy. The most popular colorway of this shoe is the pink and black colorway, but I believe since release they have brought out some more neutral colorways. I'm pretty sure Adidas has also brought out some men's sizing too, so if you want to rock that Kylie Jenner swag, you're good to go. As someone who's not really swayed by the Kylie Jenner name, I do still think it's actually a pretty good looking sneaker, and the 90s inspiration behind this sneaker is very apparent in both its colorways and its construction. In my opinion, it's actually one of the better looking shoes on this list, and for $100, it's one of the more affordable as well. Number 6. The Nike M2K Techno. This shoe is the highly anticipated follow-up to the OG dad shoe, the Nike Air Monarch 4. It features a glossy plastic heel counter and upper construction that closely resembles that of the Monarch 4. Since the M2K's release, it's actually been pretty difficult to find in stores. Initially released as a women's only sneaker and then followed up by men's sizing a couple months later, the M2K Techno is one of the more popular dad sneakers on the list. There have actually been a bunch of pretty good looking colorways and even a John Elliott collab. I couldn't really say how long the M2K is going to be a must-have shoe because of course it's only going to be as popular as long as dad shoes are popular. But of all the dad style shoes on the list, I think this is probably the most dad shoe-y. And for that reason, once this dad shoe trend sort of starts to die out, I don't know if people are still going to want to rock with this shoe. Number 5. The Adidas Young One. This is one of my personal favorites on the list. I love this shoe because I think it's a sleek, modern take on a bulky 90s inspiration. This is a shoe that if you get in the right colorway, I think you could rock with pretty much anything. The Young One features interesting suede and leather paneling along the upper of the shoe. And since its release, Adidas has pushed out a bunch of different colorways so you can choose between a clean and neutral look or a crazy, gaudy, colorful look. Not only that, but this is one of the shoes that Adidas used in the Dragon Ball Z collaboration, which has become wildly popular since its release. I'm still not a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I just don't get the hype. Number 4. The Adidas Yeezy 500. The Yeezy 500 is not one of my favorite shoes. However, it is by far one of the most popular dad shoes available today. And its popularity is 100% due to the fact that it's got the Yeezy name attached to it. This shoe is an eclectic looking sneaker, I guess you could say. It's definitely got the dad shoe vibe because it's bulky and it has all sorts of crazy paneling on the upper. As of right now, it only comes in monochromatic colorways, which means that it only comes in different shades of the same color. So we've got the blush colorway, which is all tan. We've got the supermoon colorway, which is just a different kind of tan. There's the triple black colorway, which, you know, obviously is black. And then coming next is the salt colorway, which looks white in images, but when you see it in videos, it's just kind of a lighter shade of tan. So if you like tan or shoes that look like bugs, the Yeezy 500 is for you. But in all seriousness, the shoe is incredibly popular. A lot of people do like it because it's easy to rock with a lot of different outfits, mainly because it only comes in one color. And I'll admit, it's actually a very comfortable shoe. The upper itself is soft and very well cushioned. The midsole is pretty bouncy and feels great underfoot. And of course, it's a Yeezy, which means it's gonna sell out. Number 3, the Puma Thunder Spectra. The Thunder Spectra was kind of the out of nowhere hit for Puma. Honestly, the Thunder Spectra is one of my favorite sneakers to release all year long. I think the materials are great. I think the colorway is awesome. I think it's incredibly well put together. I just don't think there's anything wrong with this shoe. The shoe originally released for $120 and promptly sold out. I had to buy my pair for resale because I just wanted that pair so badly. But since then, the shoe has had a couple restocks, so if you really wanted to buy a pair and you were really on the lookout, you probably were able to grab it for retail. I just think this is like the perfect modern dad shoe. In the same way that the Puma RSO has a lot of that dad shoe aesthetic without any of the bulk, the Puma Thunder Spectra is a very sleek and modern shoe while still maintaining a lot of that 90s inspiration. And like I said before, the materials used on this shoe are actually excellent, so when I got it in hand for the first time, I was really surprised. The original black, teal, yellow, and red colorway was my favorite, and I think that was the case for most people as well. But if you haven't been able to grab that colorway or just don't like that colorway, Puma has released a bunch of different options in tons of different colorways. I think this is a contender for sneaker of the year, but that's just me. Number 2, the Balenciaga Triples. The whole concept behind the Balenciaga Triples is that they've stacked 3 different sneaker midsoles on top of each other. And that's definitely what it looks like. It looks like a mashup of 3 different shoes. I'm gonna admit it, I hated this shoe when I first saw it, but after about a year of just seeing it over and over and over on people's feet, in fashion blogs, in resale stores, I don't hate it as much anymore. I do, however, hate the designer price point of $900. I think that's completely insane. I feel like designer sneakers, unlike designer dress shoes or designer accessories, aren't really any different than regular sneakers. They use pretty much the same materials as every other sneaker. They're not really using any premium leathers or any premium materials that you find in other designer goods. I mean, essentially, it's just a price hike because of the designer name. And yes, that's true for most designer goods, but I feel like designer sneakers in particular, like Balenciagas or Gucci's or Louis Vuittons, if they're not like dress shoes that are made of much more premium materials, they're just kind of the same thing as your Pumas or your Jordans. I know that's not 100% true, and I know there's things that they do differently, but let's be honest, they look pretty much the same. And for $900, I could buy 3 dad shoes, glue the soles together, and also pay rent. so I don't know why I'd buy the Balenciagas. With that mini rant aside, I don't think it's an awful looking shoe. It's definitely out there. It's definitely bulky. It's also incredibly heavy. Like, unless you pick one up, you just can't really realize how heavy that sneaker really is. I mean, honestly, I think one shoe out of the pair is like 3 or 4 pounds, which is nuts. However, if you are buying this Balenciaga, you're not buying it for any other reason than the clout and the name. And because over the last year, the shoe has become more and more hyped, it's become more and more desirable for a lot of people. And that's why this insanely heavy, ultra ridiculous $900 sneaker is so high up on the list. Number 1, the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700. The Yeezy Boost 700 Wave Runners first released through pre-sale on YeezySupply.com. Surprisingly, the shoe sat on the website for almost a day and a half. That was probably due to the fact that the shoe was over $300, and also you'd have to wait 3 months before you could actually get the shoe in hand. I was one of the first people to actually pre-order the shoe on the website, and when I made a video about the sneaker, people really seemed to hate it. And I totally get it. Back in the end of 2017, this dad shoe trend was just getting started. In some ways, you can attribute the success of the dad shoe trend to the Yeezy 700 and to Kanye. Until I actually got the shoe in hand, I wasn't totally sure what to think about the sneaker. I definitely didn't mind the way it looked, obviously not if I spent $300 on it, and I was really interested to try out the seemingly complete departure from the rest of the Yeezy line. Once I actually got the shoes in hand, I fell in love. They're incredibly comfortable, they look crazy, and they're out there, and I just love that about them. And since people started to get their pairs in hand, the popularity of the sneaker spiked exponentially. There have been a couple re-releases of the shoe throughout 2018, and it looks like finally at the end of October we're gonna get a second colorway. This mauve colorway is definitely a more subtle approach to the sneaker, and in my opinion it kind of takes away that ugly duckling factor that I really liked about the original 700s. But for the people who didn't like the craziness of the original colorway, they finally have a more subtle option to rock with probably a lot more outfits. Leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you think of the 700s and which colorway you prefer. I'm definitely going to be picking up a pair of this new colorway this weekend, so stay tuned for the review. That pretty much wraps up the list for today. I would love to know your thoughts on this list and whether you agreed with it or whether you think there were some shoes that weren't on the list that should have been, so make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. Of course, don't forget to enter the Off-White Nike Blazer giveaway. Once again, to do so, the link is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.